I'm Linda Patterson.
I'm Zachary Nissen.
I'm Skylar Nissen, and this is my informative speech on the African cichlid. Did you know the African cichlid is not one species of fish, but rather 1,200 separate species of fish? They're a popular freshwater fish, commonly seen in the pet trade, and as the name suggests, they're from East Africa. While there's difference in the species, they are all part of the family Cichlidae and share common characteristics, such as an elongated body and the males having an elaborate striped pattern and fancy colors. And the main three types of cichlids we commonly see in the pet trade are mbunas, peacocks, and haplochromis. And with this kind of biodiversity, African cichlids occupy several niches and have complex behaviors throughout their natural environment. And it's important that we understand these behaviors and their environments as people begin to add African cichlids to their aquariums. So where are African cichlids from? African cichlids, while there's 1,200 species, they are actually only from 3 lakes, and those 3 lakes are Lake Tanganyika, Malawi, and Victoria. Lake Malawi is a deep, crystal clear lake with an average depth of 290 meters, and 500 to 800 different species of African cichlid call it home. And most of the commonly kept species in aquariums, the mbunas, the peacocks, are endemic, meaning they're only found in that one lake, and then haplochromids are normally found there as well. The second lake, Lake Tanganyika, is the oldest and deepest of the lakes with an average depth of 570 meters, and only 240 species of cichlid have been found in that lake. And then Lake Victoria is far less crystal clear and has a lot more murky than the other 2 lakes, and it's relatively shallow at only 41 meters deep. And over 500 species have evolved in that lake within the last 15,000 years, making them one of the most speciated vertebrates in the world. And no other species has been able to dominate the 3 lakes in the African Rift Valley, such like those in the Cichlidae. And that's a key part of that is their unique lifestyle and their breeding. So their life cycle. As with many other fish species, all cichlids start off as an egg that's externally fertilized. Within 3 to 4 weeks, they start on their hatchling phase and their juvenile phase, where they begin to leave the nest and fend for themselves. And then about after 4 months, they reach their adult phase, which they're sexually mature and begin to reproduce, and the cycle begins all over again. Now they have a very unique reproduction among fish because they actually do parenting, which isn't common in most fish species. And the 3 examples of that is mouth brooding, substrate breeding, and shell breeding. Mouth brooding is the practice where one of the parents, usually the female, incubates the eggs within their mouth, and that allows them to get better fertilization and better protection. And it's the mbunas and the haplochromic cichlids that normally do that. The second one is substrate breeding. This is the most common one when you think of fish. This is where they build a nest, normally on rocks or in crevices or in the substrate itself. And this allows both parents to guard the nest rather than just one, and it's commonly found in Lake Tanganyika. And then the last form is shell breeding, which is a unique form of substrate breeding where instead of rocks, they pick shells of vacant gastropods and other shelled animals. And with such complex behaviors in specific environments, it can be difficult to replicate those in our home experience. So a key part of that is the substrate. That's a key part to setting up any aquarium. Substrates play an important role for cichlids in both their breeding and their feeding habits of multiple different cichlid species. And a recent study showed that a lack of substrate upsets males as they'll still try to build nests even when there's no substrate present. To wrap things up, as cichlids become more prominent in aquariums, it's important to understand their natural habitat and the behaviors so that we can better replicate it in our aquarium. The 3 main lakes that they're found naturally in are Lake Malawi, Tanganyika, and Victoria. And then furthermore, they have several different breeding strategies, that being mouth breeding, substrate breeding, and shell breeding. And in the end, we showed the importance of understanding the species that we plan to care for.